are in a different location, unless if you watch my chat chill and get ready with me. But I wanted to be at my desk in my room for this video so that way I can be on my computer because we are back to tier ranking. I love doing tier ranking videos so much, and I've been obviously bummed that I can't really like tier rank how I used to. So instead I found some like different ways to tier rank. You know, I think I've tier ranked by like spice level, like couples and stuff. But I saw Jess from Honest Fiction tier rank tropes. And now she did like tropes with Rex included, and she did some like fantasy ones. Now I'm just straight up ranking romance book tropes. I think I have like 40 tropes or something that we're going to be ranking, because again, that's like fair game. That's just like personal opinion. So I'm really looking forward to this. Of course, once again, I have my budget version set up on Canva because I cannot get the tier ranker website to like ever work for me. But anyways, that's basically what we're going to be doing today, is just tier ranking tropes. So without further ado, let me pull up my screen here and I will show you what we're working with. Okay, so first up here we have our categories. So we have at the top here, fantastic, give me 14 of them. Have you guys seen that little TikTok man? This is my God tier category. I will take any book with this trope. I love it. It's a tried and true. It's a favorite of all time. That's that one. Then we got a great time. Self-explanatory. I always have a great time with that trope. It's fun. If I see it in a book, I'm going to be picking it up. Then we have not mad about it. You know, like I like it. It's good. It's a solid trope, you know. I like some books with it, but it's maybe not like immediate, like if I see a certain author is writing that, it's not like, oh my gosh, I have to pick up that book, or that I'm like seeking out books with that specific trope. And then at the end, love it for you, not for me, because obviously I know tropes are out there and they exist for a reason, because there's always going to be people that like them. But that one's just not for me. So yeah, those are my categories. And then let's scroll down here and we have all of our tropes. So I'm not going to go through them one by one. We'll obviously go through them as I'm placing them, but that's what we're going to be doing today. So let's go ahead and pull up. I'm going to pull up like the first batch and then we'll get started. Okay, I got our first 4 up here. So we got coach athlete. First up, I think we obviously know where this is going. This is going fantastic. Give me 14 of them. If there is a coach athlete book out there to be read, I am reading it. I love it. I eat up the coach athlete trope. Some of my favorite books of all time are coach athlete. It's just superior. Oh, and also I should just preface this, that when I'm doing all of these, I'm specifically talking about reading them, not writing them. That's completely separate. Yeah. So these are just my preferences as a reader. Here's the thing. I love it when they're cheating to be together. When they're cheating on like the one that they're supposed to be with, that is not as much my vibe. But I'm gonna put it in a great time, because I would say the vast majority of the time it's the characters cheating to be together. Obviously cheating in real life, any of these tropes in real life, we do not like condone, you know, like when we're gonna get to like captor captive, I'm obviously not like pro kidnapping. But in books specifically, in fiction, I do love the angst and forbiddenness and the sneaking around that cheating brings to the story. It just makes them extra messy, and sometimes that's a lot of fun. So cheating's going in a great time. Marriage in Trouble. Honestly, I'm not a huge Marriage in Trouble fan. I can't even think, like I've maybe read less than a handful of Marriage in Trouble books. Honestly, I think I'm gonna put it in love it for you, not for me. It's just, I can't really think of a book that I like love that has this trope in it. And I don't know, it's just not, I always like the journey of couples getting together. And I feel like at this point, obviously, yeah, they're like working through things and it's kind of like getting back to a good place. But I feel like then we've already done like the groundwork previously and I want to see all the groundwork. So it's gonna go there. And roommates. I love roommates. But again, it's not like a favorite of mine. I'm gonna put it in not mad about it. Honestly, that could be a little higher, but we have so many tropes and so many tropes that I love that I gotta be a little like more brutal with them. And I've gotta like, I can't have everything, because otherwise a great time category is gonna be huge. So I have to be, you know, kind of strict with it. And roommates, it's great, but it's not like a favorite. Hold up the next batch here. Bodyguard. I love bodyguard romances. I think that is so fun. I would love to see more of them, quite frankly. But again, I think I'm gonna put it in not mad about it. Because granted, while like Twisted Games, one of my favorite books is Bodyguard, You know, it's great, but once again, we gotta be brutal. We gotta be brutal, so it's not gonna go up. Forbidden, y'all already know where that's about to go. Forbidden romance is my favorite category of romance, because obviously a lot of these other ones can like fit into forbidden or like fit under that umbrella, and it's just like superior to me. I will forever and always be a hoe for forbidden romance. I love the angst. I love when people are doing things that they shouldn't be doing in the name of love. Brother's Best Friend, again, that one's going up there with fantastic. Give me 14 of them. I love Brother's Best Friend. I think maybe it's, you know, I do have an older brother, and unfortunately he's never had any hot friends for me to go after. So, you know, maybe that's just me always like living out that dream every time I read one of those books. But I get it. Like, I get why people sometimes don't like that trope, because they're like, it feels weak when it's just like, how dare you like date my sister? Like, how dare you date one of my friends? And it's kind of like, shouldn't you actually be rooting for that? I don't care. I still love it every time. It just like hits for me. And same with step sibling. Step sibling is going to fantastic. Give me 14 of them. I love the step sibling trope so much. We know this. Once again, it's forbidden, it's taboo, you're not supposed to be together. But then it's also like the forced proximity a lot of the time. There's just so much that goes into this trope that just makes it so fun each and every single time. I want every single step sibling book I can get. Okay, next batch. Love triangle. I'm honestly going to put that in love it for you, not for me. There are certain love triangle books that I do like. However, I will say the vast majority of them, I just always feel like there is a clear favorite, and I always feel like I know which one is going to be picked. So then it's just not as fun, because I'm like, I don't really care about all this time spent with this other character that I know is not going to get picked at the end of the day. So I don't know. Sometimes I feel like it's just hard to make it work. When it does work, I do enjoy it. But I'd say the vast majority of them just like don't work for me. Friends with benefits. I do love Friends with benefits. I think that's gonna go in a great time. I love it when they're like, we're just friends, we're just like helping each other out, you know, whatever. But then it's like when you slowly see them start to realize that they're not just friends and that they actually like love each other and it's more than benefits. Oh, it's so good each and every single time. Surprise pregnancy. Now, you guys might be surprised about this, but I'm going to put it in not mad about it. I don't mind surprise pregnancy. Now, here's the thing. I do not seek out that trope. Like, if it's, especially when it's at the beginning of the book, I don't like that as much. But when it hits at like the 60% mark, all of a sudden it's like, oh shit, and that kind of creates some drama at the end. I don't mind it, because also here's the thing, surprise pregnancy, the kid isn't here yet. The kid isn't in the actual book. So then it's just like a lot of caretaking, which I think is sweet. I'm not mad about the pregnancy portion of it. It's then when an actual child is in the mix that then I'm like, take it away from me. So I don't mind surprise pregnancy. I'm not mad about it. Marriage of Convenience, same. That one's gonna go in not mad about it. I do like it. It's just not a favorite of mine. Like, I don't seek it out, but I do kind of like when it the like my wife line always gets me, you know, when they're like together but they're not supposed, or like when they're together but they're like, this is just like a deal, or you know, this is just because we need to do that, but then slowly seeing them once again like actually fall in love and realize their true feelings. Oh, it's so good. And Secret Baby, you guys absolutely know where this is going. Honestly, it could have its own category of keep it as far away from me as Antarctica is, because I hate Secret Baby. That is my least favorite romance trope ever. I know so many people enjoy it. Some of my best friends even enjoy it. Here's the thing. I just find no valid reason a lot of the times of why the baby was kept secret. There is only, I think, one Secret Baby book that I've ever enjoyed, and that's Reckless by Elsie Silver. And I actually really understood like that book, and at least it wasn't a secret for a long time, because that's the other thing. Like, then when the guy's background and it's still a secret, I'm like, I can't with this. There's no valid reason for this. And yeah, it's a trope that it's not a favorite for me. It's definitely not a favorite for me. Okay, next batch, Why Choose? A great time. I love Why Choose books so much, especially then when some of the guys are also like into each other as well. Cause yes, Why Choose? Sometimes, especially I feel like when I'm reading romance and I'm reading so many just like couple books, that then I'm like, I need some more characters in the mix, you know, I need some more people to be caring about. And then it's always fun to pick up a Why Choose, because then it's like you're getting sometimes like 4 or 5 characters that you're following, and that's just enjoyable. And I love like group, like everyone, yeah, just like have a great little group time. I don't know. Single parent, love that for you, not for me, because as I said before, with surprise pregnancy, I like it when the baby is not like when the child's not actually here. Then when I have children in the story that are talking like adults, oh, I can't stand it. It's like a pet peeve of mine. And I'm just not a kid person in general, so like it's just, you know, I totally understand why so many people love single parent. It's just definitely not for me. I don't like pick up single parent books. Next up, Small Town. Once again, love it for you, not for me. Once again, I don't think we're surprised by that. Bully, I'm gonna go not mad about it. I do like bully romances. However, I will say most of them are like high school ones, and I just don't really read a lot of that anymore. And then like, yeah, there are some in college too, but I almost feel like in college then it's a bit of a stretch sometimes, because I'm like, you're all in, like, you have things to be doing, okay? You have better things to be doing than like bullying someone, even though I do love the like when it turns from the hate to love. But yeah, it's just, I'm not mad about it. I just don't really seek it out anymore. And Rockstar, that is going in a great time. I love Rockstar romances. Once again, if we were talking about writing, that would be different, but I love music so much, so I love when books include music or are following musicians or just like the creative artists types. I just think like I love, especially when it's like a brooding rock star who's like sad and like angry and alone and tortured, and what can I say? I am just a sucker for that each and every time. We are going to run out of room quickly, so we are going to have to overlap some of these. Next up we have sports romance. Here's the thing, because I thought about like breaking it out, because if it was hockey, that's fantastic, give me 14 of them, but if it's like football, I don't really care as much. Or even like basketball, like genuinely it's like hockey, okay? It's like hockey romances that I'm like, give me 14 of them, but I don't want to break them all out because that's too much. So I'm gonna put sports in a great time, because I do really love sports romances, but not all, I guess. Boss employee, I'm gonna put in not mad about it. Once again, I do love this trope, like this and bodyguard, like I genuinely really, really love those tropes. But again, we're being cutthroat, and not everything can be a great time, even though I do love boss employee. Because once again, it's forbidden, it's against the rules, everything that I love, but it's not my favorite, I guess, of forbidden romances. Amnesia, love it for you, not for me. Although I will say, God of War, that kind of changed the game for me with Amnesia. I just feel like I haven't read enough otherwise. I think like that and Forget Me Not by QB Tyler, which I love both of those books. So like, should Amnesia be higher? Maybe, but also I don't think I've read any other Amnesia romances. So maybe I need to read more and like see how I feel about that trope, like broader. But I'd say it's not one that I like seek out. So I'm putting it down there. Like, love it for you. It's just, it's not personally one that I'm like always looking for. Second Chance, I've really been enjoying Second Chance lately, but again, I feel like I have not read enough of them. I'm gonna put it in not mad about it, because I do really enjoy it. I just don't feel like I seek it out a lot. Like, I'm never like looking in the Kindle store for Second Chance romances, but I will say the angst and like the years of hurt and heartbreak that characters have between each other and Second Chance is just, oh, it's delicious. So it's going to not mad about it. And fake dating, a great time. I love fake dating so much, especially then when you know that the fake dating starts to turn into real dating, but neither of them wants to be the one to say it because they are like, oh, it was an arrangement, or they're just faking it when I'm not faking it anymore. Oh, it's so good. Fake dating is a great time. We are running out of space here. Okay, next up we have toxic. A great time. I do love a toxic romance so much. I mean, granted, love healthy communication, love healthy relationship dynamics, but once again, how fun is it though to read about two people that are so bad for each other but can't get enough of each other? Like, that's where my love of romance started, because that was with After by Anna Todd, and that is arguably one of the most toxic romance series I've ever read, and it just kind of jump-started my love for that, and my roots I think will always be drawn a toxic romance. Chapter Captive. Now I feel like you guys might think that that's going to go in fantastic, give me 14 of them, but actually it is going to go in a great time. So listen, I love Chapter Captive romances. However, with every single one, I always hit a bit of a slump in the book itself. Even though some of these books end up being 5 stars, they end up being all-time favorites, I do always hit a slump with them where I get sick of like feeling stuck alongside the heroine, where I'm like, I feel trapped in this book and like in this story because they're like, right, they can't move around a lot. They've like tried to escape or whatever, and now they're back, and it's just like, there's always a bit of a lull in it for me. So it's going in a great time. I do read a lot of them, but it's not like fantastic, give me 14 of them. Then we have Dark. Dark is obviously going to fantastic, give me 14 of them. Once again, Dark is one of those ones kind of alongside Forbidden. It encompasses a lot of these other tropes, but I love dark romances. I love pushing my own boundaries when I'm reading. I love, reading about things that kind of like make me uncomfortable sometimes, but it's like why people enjoy watching like horror movies or things like that. It's just, that kind of like darker side is kind of fascinating in a bit. And yeah, I love dark romances. That's not surprising to any of you who watch my videos. Mafia, I'm gonna go in a great time. I do love mafia romances. However, I do feel like it got overdone for a while, and I personally love like kind of the old school mafia vibes, and I feel like now some of the newer ones just are not necessarily my favorite, but I do still really like that trope, and some of my all-time favorite books are mafia books. So, and it's never going to get old for me. Like, I'm always going to read more mafia books. It's just, sometimes they don't always hit the way that I want them to. And insta love. Love it for you, not for me. I will never, ever, ever be an insta love person. I mean, sure, sometimes like in a novella, it's like, okay, I just need something short, quick, to the point, grab my attention and keep it, and kind of like keep it moving. So obviously in that you can't really do a slow burn, but I'm not an insta love person. It just like never really does it for me. Okay, I kind of condensed some of the categories a little bit because like I said, we are running out of room. But we are getting down to the end. Next up, I have X's dad. That is going in fantastic. Give me 14 of them. I love the X's dad trope. It goes all the way back to Birthday Girl by Penelope Douglas, my very first indie romance I ever read back in 2020. And I will just forever and always love that trope. I mean, and even now, I've also then been loving the like X getting his redemption book, like Mercy by Sarah Kate and The Good Girl by Nikki Sloan. Like, I'm equally loving that trope as much as well. But X's dad, there's just something about that hits every single time. It's just so good. Then we have Dad's Best Friend. I love a dad's best friend, and I think that's also going to go in fantastic. Give me 14 of them. That hits every time. Once again, it's the age gap, it's the sneaking around, it's forbidden. It's kind of similar with like Brother's Best Friend, where it's like, obviously the heroine has this like family member in their life that like does not want them necessarily like with their friends, but then it's just like elevated because normally then like it's an age gap as well, and that just makes it like extra forbidden. And Dad's Best Friend, I'm thinking of like Wanting Mr. Kane, and that is just like one of my favorite trilogies. Like, oh, so good. Slow burn, fantastic. Give me 14 of them. I guess we're getting to a lot of those now. That category was a little small, but once again, like I've been trying to be like harsh on it. But slow burn, I am forever and always a slow burn person. Now granted, it doesn't need to be the slowest of slow burns. Like, I don't want it to be 90% and they haven't even like kissed yet. Okay, like I don't want that. But I love like around like the 40% mark maybe is when they're like first kissing, first starting to like get there. I love that build up. It like keeps me going. It keeps me turning the pages. The payoff is always so good with a slow burn. And that's just where I feel like I am the most connected with the characters, is when it's a slower burn. Best Friend's Dad, honestly, I'm gonna put it in not mad about it. I don't mind this one because obviously once again we have like the age gap, we kind of have the forbidden aspect to it, but I just don't love it as much when it's the best friend. It just doesn't hit as good as when it is the dad. Jeez, can I speak? Like, you know what I'm saying? It just doesn't hit as good as Dad's Best Friend. And age gap, once again, fantastic. Give me 14 of them. I love an age gap. Once again, it falls under like forbidden. It falls under so many of these other categories, but It's just tried and true. I've read some really big age gaps. I've read some smaller ones, and they just, it always is a fun time. Okay, we're down to our last 7. So here's 4 more. So enemies to lovers. Okay, I am going to have to actually condense this one a little bit because enemies to lovers is going to go in fantastic. Give me 14 of them. Now, here's the thing. When I'm saying this though, I want the enemies to be enemying for a long time, okay? I don't want this to be like they're enemies for 10, 20% and then they're done with it and they're already in love. No, I need the enemies to actually be legitimate enemies. And that's why I didn't put hate to love on here, because I'm going to kind of like say that hate to love kind of goes into enemies to lovers, because I know obviously I think enemies to lovers falls more in fantasy, where then like hate to love, and maybe like mafia, where hate to love falls into more like contemporary romances. So when I'm doing enemies to lovers, I'm kind of also then like including hate to love in there as well. But I just love that very thin line between love and hate and watching characters cross that. And then in enemies to lovers, especially if it's like, you know, there's family like wounds and like family rivalries and like really strong like hate between them and reasons why they shouldn't be together, but then they can't help but like want to be together. Oh, it's so good. Like I love it. I eat it up every single time. Friends to lovers, once again, like I said, we're not talking about writing. So if we're talking about writing friends to lovers is one of my favorite tropes that I've written so far. So that would go up top. But in terms of reading, it's going into not mad about it. I do like friends to lovers a lot, but I just don't tend to pick a lot of them up because I just do like more of the hate. It's just more toxic, okay? I think we know that my reading taste leans towards toxic a lot more of the time. So like friends to lovers, while good, it's not a favorite of mine. Forced proximity, a great time. I love it when characters are forced to be around each other, especially if they don't really want to be. It's great. Again, there's so much encompassing it. Roommates could fall into that, but there's like more situations of them being like in forced proximity with each other that it's a good time. I like that forced interaction that they have to have. Good boy, bad girl. I'm honestly going to put in Love It For You, Not For Me. I think there's only one good boy, bad girl book that I love, and that's Falls Boys by Penelope Douglas. Love that one. Otherwise, I feel like I haven't really read any that I love that I can at least think about offhand. Here's the thing, oh my god, I just realized I don't have Grumpy Sunshine on here. See, that's the thing. I'm sure there are so many tropes that I'm gonna realize I forgot. Okay, Grumpy Sunshine would 100% be in fantastic. No, it'd probably be in a great time. Grumpy Sunshine would go in a great time if I had that one on here. I'm not gonna like mock that up and put that in here. But anyways, with good boy, bad girl, I just normally like when the guy is the one that's like broody and angry and doing bad things. I don't know, rather than him being like a goody two shoes. Obviously in real life, I want a nice guy. Like I want a sweet guy, right? But in a book, I like it when they're kind of bad. So good boy, bad girl going in there. And like I said, while I pull up these last ones, like I said, if Grumpy Sunshine was in here, Grumpy Sunshine would 100% be in. I can't believe that I forgot that trope. That would 100% be in a great time. And then now we have our final 3 tropes. Bad boy, good girl, that is going in a great time. I do love a good bad boy, good girl, like I said. But also there are limits to how good I want the girl to be as well. I don't want her to be like a little goody two shoes, okay? I definitely want her to be better than him, but she needs to have a little bit of grit. She needs to have a little bit of edge. So that's why it's going in a great time. Arranged marriage, not mad about it. Again, that like falls in mafia, and I do think that like works really well in mafia books. But again, it's not a favorite of mine, and outside of the mafia trope, I can't really think of like a reason why I would read that or like love that. And I saved the best for last. You guys are probably like, where is Student Teacher? That one is going to fantastic. Give me 14 of them. I love Student Teacher. That is my all-time favorite. Like obviously Forbidden is my favorite, like all-encompassing trope, but specifically if we're whittling it down, Student Teacher is just my favorite. I love that trope so much. The forced proximity, forbidden, taboo, normally an age gap, lots of hopefully fighting it of being like, we shouldn't be doing this, but like love can't keep us apart. Oh, it's just, or like rules can't keep our love apart. It's so good. It's I eat it up every single time. And yeah, that is my final list. So let me just review really quick if we need to move anything, which I don't think we do. Like I said, I mean, there's definitely some and not mad about it that I do. Like, honestly, seeing Bodyguard and Surprise Pregnancy right next to each other, same with Boss Employee, like seeing those in the same line, it's kind of like, I don't know if that totally fits, because again, there are some in here that I would put lower than some of the other ones that I have in here. I'd put a little higher. But I just wanted to do 4 categories because it kind of forces me to like make choices, where if I do 5, it's just a lot more of like hemming and hawing and being like, oh, I don't know. Where, like I said, I wanted to be a little more cutthroat with this. So even though there are a lot of tropes in here that I do really love, and it's in a good, like, not mad about it, I still like those. Love It For You, Not For Me, 100%. Those are in the right spot. A Great Time, yep, that looks good to me. Once again, if sports was hockey, that would 1000% be up top. And yeah, and then my fantastic, give me 14 of them: Coach, Athlete, Forbidden, Brother's Best Friend, Step Sibling, Dark, Ex's Dad, Dad's Best Friend, Slow Burn, Age Gap, Enemies, Lovers, and Student Teacher. That is a knockout board, if you ask me, if I do say so myself. Anyways, that is it for today's video. Yeah, I don't know what's gonna be up next week. I think I had it plotted out, but quite frankly now I cannot remember. So you'll see it when you see it, and I will see you when I see you.